Let's Talk showing on No Limit TV. This is another beautiful Wednesday afternoon with me here, of course, talking to you live from No Limit Studios here in Pitakwa City. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, you're welcome. Let's Talk is our midweek live program where I get to talk about some of the stories, the trending stories in the country, the trending happenings in the country. And these stories come from different sectors, different industry. It could be health wise, it could be politics, it could be entertainment, it could be anything basically. So whatever it is, we'll talk about it here on Let's Talk. So it's an interactive program, which means you can drop your comments, your suggestion, and your thoughts about some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. All right, so welcome once again. So I'm going to be going straight to my stories for today. I don't want to waste your time. For first off, I'm going to be talking about fuel subsidy. So we know that if you're in Nigeria, the past few months, fuel subsidy has been what has been on everybody's lips. From the first day that our current president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, got on seat, he talked about the removal of fuel subsidy, and ever since that time, the results of fuel subsidy has been felt by everybody in the country. There's been like high increase of everything, transportation, foodstuffs, even normal things I used to buy before in the market. Everything just skyrocketed. The price of everything skyrocketed as a result of the fuel subsidy. So ever since then, of course, Nigerians have been hurt. People have been complaining, and initially when the first time that people started panic buying when the announcement was made, it was sold around 500-600 naira. 500 naira. Then after some time, it increased to our current price that we have in now, which is 617 naira. It's right now they sell petrol for like from 580 to 617 naira per liter, depending on the place, the location and all that. So after the second time that the price of PMS increased, Nigerians became outraged again, and since then, lots of things have been happening. But right now, what is it's like a developing story. It's already developing. I feel like lots of people don't know about it yet, but it's a fact that the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, through their national secretary, have come out to say that they think that the federal government is actually still subsidizing petrol. So they have come out to say this. And on the other hand, the NNPCL are saying there's nothing like fuel subsidy, that the government is not giving them subsidy, because the Independent Petrol Marketers Association of Nigeria are saying, as at when the fuel subsidy was introduced into Nigeria, dollar was about, they were buying the crude for about $80 per barrel, but right now crude is about $93 to $94 per barrel. So you cannot tell me that something that has increased over that time till now, and you're still selling fuel at around 600 naira. Like, they think that fuel is supposed to be at least 800 naira right now in the country. So they have called out the government. They're saying the government, they don't want to be open and say the truth. So, but tell me, what do you think about this issue on ground? Because NNPCL are saying there's no subsidy given to us. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association are saying there's subsidy. And in all of this, I don't really know what to think, but I feel like if this is actually what is happening, it's going to be very funny, because it's just going to make people still come back to say, you see, if you knew that you were not ready to do this thing, you shouldn't have done it. Just imagine now that you are having to subsidize, but maybe like in hiding. Understand? And I think at the end of the day, the people that are going to be affected by this are, of course, the independent marketers who are doing the independent ones. So whatever it is that is going on, the government, the independent marketers, and even Pengasin all actually called out the government some weeks ago, I think, about their own issues that are happening in their own sector of the country. So basically, a lot of people have been talking about government. I think that the government they've actually said something through NNPCL, but minus that, they actually need to come and make it direct. Let us be sure and let us know if we are going to be, if the fuel is subsidized or is not. They have to come together to find out how they are going to solve this situation, so the independent petroleum marketers don't always be complaining and feel like the government is doing something, fishy behind their backs. So I just thought to update you on that. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about today is the issue of flooding. I mean, if you are from a riverine area, or just basically if you're in Nigeria, you know that we just cause of the geographical location of where we are, we tend to have cases of flooding. And flooding is something that has been going on for years, for decades. It has been a problem, especially in the Niger Delta parts of the country, and flooding is a very it's a natural hazard first of all, and but a lot of things contribute to flooding, especially in this part of town, like for especially for us, let me say for us here in River State, for example, and here in like Obiapo and some other local government areas in River State, you would notice, even in Abua, from where I'm from, you will notice that flooding is always a major concern. But it's in different areas. It's actually the causes of it are different. For example, we have people that are close to rivers, and lakes, all those kind of water bodies that if anything makes the body of water overflow, it overflows into the community. So that's like a different reason. We still have the ones in the rural the urban areas. When urbanization, when you build houses, development and everything, sometimes people build, and then when they build and block water channels that water was supposed to have used, to escape and go other places. So most of the times in urban areas like this, you will find out that the causes of flood is actually poor drainage systems. You build and build and build, and you will not build drainage. And then when a heavy downpour comes, before you know, the streets are blocked. People are moving out of their houses. So aside the natural hazard that flooding is, it sometimes flooding can be man-made. But today I'm not specifically going to be talking about the man-made flood, because that one can be easily like looked after or easily handled, just like I said, proper drainage systems, here and there, better planning of how you're building and all that stuff. But I'm not going to be dwelling on this particular kind of flooding. Today I'm going to be dwelling on these areas that have high risk of flooding, like when we have water overpours. So basically, Delta, Bayelsa, River State, Cross River, like Imo State, like we have some kind of states that are very vulnerable at this time. In fact, some people that even live in areas that are affected and have flood problems, like in Bayelsa, people are already moving like from where they're staying to other states, just because they don't want to be around when the flooding starts. Because once you are around that area and it starts, you get stuck. So most people are already relocating to other places. Even schools that are in those kind of areas, before they're packing up, everybody's leaving, they're sending children back to their parents. So it's a really a great cause of concern. But every year there's something the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency they do. Every year they release like an outlook. It's called the Flood Outlook. It's the annual flood outlook. That's the name of of the publication. It's made public to the Nigerians. It's a way to like inform us, about some of the areas that have high risk of being affected by flooding, the low risk areas, like communities that you should be expecting those kind of things. So the outlook is out there, So they gave us a little bit of some stats and all that about some of the areas that are going to be affected. But right now, as I'm talking to you, from April, the flooding comes in like three parts. Normally, it starts from April, June, and then you have from like July to like September, and then you have this next one now. Like people they're moving now, they're moving because those areas are going to be affected October, November, right? So if you have a loved one that is in areas like this, you need to call them and check up on them, and you need to make sure that they have plans of, if they're relocating to somewhere or where they can practically stay, because nobody wants to even be around that kind of area. Because last year we remember how it was last year now, and last year was one of the biggest flood that we've had in over a decade, so it was very massive. And this year is going to be, we pray it doesn't get as serious as it was last year. But call your people and make better preparations about how you're going to be able to, find your way around it, because the flood is coming. The flood is coming actually. At this point, I'm going to be going on a short break. When I come back, we'll be talking entertainment matters. So before I went on that break, of course, I was giving you like an update and informing you about some of the trending and very important things that you should know as a Nigerian and as a Niger Delta, um, as somebody living in Niger Delta. Yes, not just you might not just be from Niger Delta, but you might just be living here. So, but basically, before I went on the break, I talked about the recent controversies that has been revolving around the whole fuel subsidy, from the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, through their national secretary, calling out the government, saying that they are secretly subsidizing petrol, as against them coming out to say they've stopped fuel subsidy, So I talked about that as well. And then I also talked about the fact that flooding, is it's going to be a problem this year again, People who live in high-risk areas are already going to other places, so that they don't get stuck, And before I move on to the entertainment, we should not forget that flooding is it's like a menace, it's something that is very, nobody wants to experience, because first of all, it displaces people, people leave their houses, people's properties get destroyed, even crops, people spend time, to plant crops and, for maybe themselves to sell. Flooding is actually one of the reasons why we have high cost of food prices in the market, not just the petrol parts, because when flooding comes, these lands that people have cultivated, planted cassava, planted this, the flood comes and washes everything away. It happened last year, and it's so sad that it's going to happen this year. But flooding is not something that is not nice at all. It has so many effects on psychological effects. Even effects on it affects the economy as well. Because of you have high cost of food prices and people lose their houses, people die, people get injured, people get missing from flooding. So it's really a really sad experience, but everybody should just buckle up, from wherever you are, just buckle up. And if you have somebody that lives in those areas, or maybe you don't know, like I said earlier, you can go and check out the annual flood outlook. It's a publication that is released by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, so you can just go online and check it out, so that the high risk areas, if you're living in one of those high risk areas, or if you know somebody that is living there, so that you can call and start making plans. All right, so at this point I'm going to be talking about one of the topics that everybody has been talking about. So we all know that Choma and Davido, okay, we don't know yet because they haven't confirmed, so this is unconfirmed, but there have been lots of reports that they have welcomed a set of twin in the United States of America. According to the story, they say it's one boy and one girl, but I think we will never know. But congratulations to Choma and Davido. I'm hoping the news is true, I'm hoping it's true, because after last year and all of the controversies that had happened, between the two of them, it's really nice that, for a breath of fresh air, something positive and something very beautiful. So of course I'm going to be bringing you updates on that, if it is true or not. But I think it's true, but of course it's allegedly, until they come out and make a public confirmation, that is when we are going to be sure. But anyways, at this point I've come to the end of my live program for today. I hope you had an amazing time with me. I enjoyed myself. I wish I could stay here more, but I have to go. But I'll be back here Wednesday afternoon again. Okay, so keep a date with me. Before I go, I would like to say a very big thank you to you, of course, our audience, our viewers, for always tuning in. Thank you for always sharing and leaving comments and likes on our work. I'm really grateful. We really appreciate you. And of course, I have to say shout out to our boss, Mr. Casey Arno, the CEO of No Limit Media Production. I have to say a big shout out to the guys behind the camera, Obina. Shout out to Obina, shout out to Godfest, and of course, shout out to myself. Before I go, do not forget that we have lots of amazing, beautiful, educative, inspiring, entertaining content on our page. On Instagram, our name is No Limit TV _Niger. On Facebook, here that you're watching me from, this is No Limit TV. And on YouTube, it's No Limit TV as well. So do well to go to our page and just go and watch. We have beautiful content for you. And of course, do not forget that we are available for all your media services. So we have a beautiful studio. You want to take great pictures. We give some of the best pictures in PHCT. This is no cap. Go and check the records. So yeah, we are available for your photography needs. You have a wedding coming up, you have a birthday party, you have an event, whatever it is you want to do, and you need like professional media services, we are your plug for that. So of course, contact us or visit our studio at number 28 Wike Street off Orazi, Port Harcourt. So before I go, once again, you can follow us on our social media. On Instagram, No Limit TV _Niger. On Facebook, No Limit TV. On YouTube, No Limit TV. If you want to follow me on social media, my name is Queen Kramer on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Alright, so till next time, I have to say goodbye. See you next time.